I'd like to turn to our final analysis is to look at Compliance University by topic, not pathway. And what you're going to see forward from here is a different way to crunch information. So we've thought about pathways and pathways of learning to facilitate you in your compliance training so you'd have a better sense of how to sequence your learning and how to platform it on other learning so your experience with continuing ed is not haphazard and hither and thither. That's one way to do it. We could also do it by job, although what we're finding with higher education professionals is that many of us have multiple jobs and we're moving from one job to another. Pathways are often a very appealing way to learn this material. Yet another way to crunch compliance material is by topic, not pathway. I'd like to draw your attention, if you're not familiar with it, ACPA has been a major partner in this, the creation of the so-called Higher Education Compliance Alliance. Created by NACUA, the College Attorney Association, it's become a repository of a vast amount of regulatory information. There's an entire matrix that's available online at the website that you see. For those of you at a state level, you're going to have to look at state and local regulation, and there has been a tendency in Compliance University to get people really focused on federal metrics, but the reality is more and more our compliance work is state and local specific. The state of California, for example, has extensive rules now that mimic Title IX. If you run a residence facility, you know what I mean. Getting a certificate of occupancy dominates your life in a certain part of the year, and local regulation is so critical. I want to thank you for the time that we've spent together in Compliance 101, and I wish you the best of luck as you progress through your continuing education process in Compliance U. Keep in mind, it's up to you how you construct your pathways and learning process, but we've designed things in a sequenced way to facilitate your knowledge and to also help you to keep updated, because that's a big part of continuing ed. This program is designed to provide the most basic fundamental understanding out there to do what probably hasn't really ever occurred for many of us before, is try to imagine what are the basic things you need to know as you enter the universe of an employee whose job on a daily basis is compliance. And how do you keep your educational focus through all of it? Some concluding thoughts. Is compliance even really the right term? We're educators. It's up to us to invent how we imagine this. We don't have to accept the term that's been thrown at us by lawyers and legalists. What are we really doing? And right now, the vogue way of referring to what we're doing is compliance. In the future, well, that'll be up to us. Certainly what we are doing is very interdisciplinary, and it's wonderful. It's phenomenal to spend time around folks like you doing all these really interesting and important jobs and getting a chance to know a lot about what I do and quite a bit about what you do in valuing each other, respecting each other, and working towards common goals. None of this is going to work unless the spirit of the law and the spirit of compliance manifests. Forcing people to just follow rules and fill out forms doesn't really get them to the place we need to be. We know this in education. You don't really learn anything unless you're inspired by the lessons that you're learning. How can we inspire people to the messages of compliance? Title IX, for example, don't we all want to combat sex discrimination and reduce its impacts when it occurs? Isn't that part of who we are? Did we really need Title IX to make us do that? And if we get lost in the weeds of technical compliance, can we find our way home to the point of compliance that's most important of all, which is complying with the spirit that the rules were created in? Maintaining and claiming our educational power becomes critical. I do get worried sometimes. I'm sure you're worried implicitly about this too. In 20 years, will higher education be filled with ex-lawyers who run perfect machines of compliance, but no one's learning anything, and the cost is through the roof and no one can afford it? It makes me very nervous. And so it's important for us not to lose the mission of higher education while we're caught up in the concept of compliance. And to me, the solution is quite obvious, is to find the connectivity at a level of the spirit of the law and our educational power. This is where we find a lot of congruence. And it's up to us to be looking for that at all times. I wish you the best of luck with that. It isn't always easy to do in an operational situation. Compliance is a process, not a point. We're not heading to some place that's perfect. We're not going to be perfect. We are out of compliance all the time. But we don't accept that. We try to make tomorrow a better day. We look for the important things. We let enterprise risk management guide us in our decision-making process. And we attempt to become part of a constant and ongoing process of complying to create a better day for our students and ourselves. Which badges, pathways, and topics connect with your job? We can help you with that. But I think the thing you're going to realize that each and every one of you is as individualized as the students that we train. And so what appeals to you in Compliance U, the types of topics, pathways, and badges, it'll be different from just about everyone else. Someone out there wants to be an Eagle Scout and will attempt virtually every badge that we offer in Compliance U. But many of you may want to pick and choose and just work with a particular area, even at an expert or intermediate level. This is, of course, up to you. But we wish you the best of luck as you proceed through this, because this is designed as a smorgasbord for you, and yet there's coherence to it. Why Compliance U? Why now? I've taught in a law school for many years, and it's occurred to me that the frontiers of legal knowledge clearly lie in continuing legal education for people who aren't practicing law. You're not trying to be a lawyer. Maybe you already have that law degree, but what you are trying to do is do your job in a legalized environment. And there's need for that kind of training. Frankly, even lawyers need this training because law schools tend not to emphasize the softer regulatory skills. It's a new day in legal education. It's legal education that focuses on people who aren't looking to practice law, who wish to use law as a tool in jobs that aren't going to court, negotiating deals, suing people, etc. Why now? Because the culture now demands more legal accountability and more compliance accountability than ever. And our own authenticity is on the table. We have the opportunity to regain the trust of American society through compliance. We also have the opportunity to lose that. Some of us will come kicking and screaming to Compliance U, others may not. Keep in mind your place in history. Right now, we're building out massive civil rights changes that will affect generations for eons to come. And the reason that we're here is because the civil rights revolution of the 60s worked. It may not be perfect. We left a lot of things behind. There are so many issues yet to resolve. But there are more educated people from more multicultural backgrounds than ever before, and demanding change and imagining a complete revolution in the delivery of higher learning. You are operating in a new professional and academic discipline. And the future of student affairs is the future of Compliance University. We run hand in hand together. Can we and will we claim our academic power as distinct academic professionals? I hope so, and I hope that these programs facilitate you on that path. These programs are for new and senior professionals, and one of the wonderful things about Compliance University and the programming that we have in Compliance U is that it's accessible to people that are brand new to campus and the most senior people. And as I've suggested earlier, and I'll say it again, each and every one of us plays a critical role at any given moment in time in compliance. Hierarchy matters, but is often not the thing that is decisive in a compliance moment. What you say to a young person who's just been sexually assaulted may make all the difference in outcomes for that person. No mountain of lawyers, no eons of litigation could ever rectify what you actually have the power to do in that very initial meeting. You realize the responsibility and opportunity that goes with this. And I suspect that's why you've dedicated so much time just to a foundational unit on Compliance 101, because knowing this material, mastering it, and ever building out your knowledge in compliance is exactly how we become better and stronger educators. I want to thank all of you for the time that you've taken today. I particularly want to thank my partner, ACPA, for the vision to construct this kind of program. Special thanks to Ringling School of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida for lending their facilities for this shoot. I'm Professor Peter Lake. It's really been a pleasure to have been with you in this program. See you in Compliance University.